This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by
nhliberty.org. nhliberty.org.
Propaganda filmmaker Frank Capra was not sure how to fight the Nazis in the 1940s. But one day a verse from Scripture rang out in his head. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. He studied the Germans' films, copied them, and used them to mobilize the American people. We, libertarians in New Hampshire, are fighting authoritarians, not Nazis. But the same principles apply. So let us hear what our opponents have to say, and let it be our mobilizer. State of New Hampshire versus Ian Bernard, January 2009. Motion to show cause. Now comes the State of New Hampshire by and through Eliza Rivera, police prosecutor, to ask the Honorable Court to have Ian Bernard appear before the Keene District Court to show cause to the Honorable Court. As an officer of the court, the state feels compelled to advise the court of Ian Bernard's recent behavior, which could be looked upon as a criminal act, to wit, RSA 626, Mark 8, criminal liability for conduct of another. A person is an accomplice of another person in the commission of an offense if, with the purpose of promoting the commission of the offense, he aids in planning and committing it.
Carroll getting arrested for touching a plant.
That on January 10th, 2009, James A. Carroll was arrested by the Keene Police Department for possession of a controlled drug, marijuana. That James A. Carroll's arrest was a staged civil disobedience, for which he purposefully appeared at Railroad Square and held in his hand a quantity of marijuana in public, and awaited his arrest by the Keene Police Department. That, in research, it was discovered that Ian Bernard was an active participant in staged civil disobedience. That Ian Bernard engaged in the promoting of said civil disobedience by assisting James A. Carroll with submitting press releases, blogging, promoting attendance at the civil disobedience on his website, freekeene.com, and by personally appearing at Railroad Square on January 10th, 2009, to show support and videotape James A. Carroll's civil disobedience. That Ian Bernard appeared at Keene Police Department, while James A. Carroll was transported to the Keene Police Department, and continued his support of James A. Carroll, and remained in the lobby during the booking and processing of James A. Carroll. That the Keene Police Department is investigating the staged civil disobedience and reviewing videos to determine whether other participants may have engaged in criminal activity. That this affiant has personally viewed some of the videotapes on freekeene.com and observed Ian Bernard in the background of several videos. That Ian Bernard continued his support and promotion of James A. Carroll's conduct by having him on his internet radio show, freetalklive.com, in the evening of January 10th. That, as an officer of the court, the state believes that Ian Bernard has not remained of good behavior. State versus Budget defines the term good behavior as conduct conforming to the law. The Supreme Court of New Hampshire has specifically stated that proof of breach of the implied condition of good behavior need not be beyond a reasonable doubt, but is sufficient if established by a preponderance of evidence.
Ian Bernard? Have a seat. Have a seat.
that the defendant has a 90-day suspended sentence issued by the Keene District for direct contempt, said suspicion being on condition of good behavior. That as an officer of the court, this affiant presents to the court this motion to support a finding by the honorable judge of misplaced trust, and the defendant's suspended sentence be imposed. That this affiant will be able to provide videos, blog transcripts, and actual radio broadcast to show the defendant's promotion and aiding of James A. Carroll civil disobedience. Respectfully submitted, the State of New Hampshire. Sergeant Eliza Rivera, Police Prosecutor, Keene Police Department. Unquote. Eli, what are you thinking? Imposing a process like this, supposedly meant to be used to protect people from one another. What are you thinking imposing such a process on an admittedly harmless person? There is no human being in New Hampshire capable of following all 5 million words worth of state law. And if we live in a country where it is a crime to do what is right, to support a person engaging in constructive civil disobedience, then we live in a country where the criminals are the heroes and the police are the villains. Would that it were not so.
This edition of the Ridley Report was brought to you by the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance at nhliberty.org. If you were to go to the State House and do this, then you would step on the toes of a Liberty Alliance member, because they're all over the place at the State House. They are there fighting for your freedom, and they need your help. Visit the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance at nhliberty.org and join them. Or maybe I should say, join us, because I am a member. nhliberty.org.